Hi everyone, it's Caroline again, and I have another video for you guys. This one's going to be my January 2020 to March 2020 life update. As I mentioned in my previous life update, a lot has been going on, so I'm back to my videos. As I mentioned, if you guys want to see it, go back and watch it before you watch this one. So now I am back to YouTube. So now that the holidays have passed and things were like really busy for me, now it's January 2020 and things are not as busy for me as my previous video was, as I mentioned. So now it's January 2020. This life update is going to be that January 2020 to March 2020. So January 2020. So now we're in the new year. So New Year's Day, as I said in my last video, a lot was going on with my dance classes and my dance performances and other personal things that I was doing, as I mentioned. My husband was still working. Thank God, he still has a job. It's a new year, so he still has a job, that part-time under the table job that he has. It's a new year now. So now that it's a new year, January 2020, dance class season started up again. So for the new dance season, I decided not to do tap or jazz. As I said in my last video, I did tap and jazz from September 2019 to December 2019. So I was doing tap and jazz through those couple months. So now that it's January 2020, I decided to just do ballet and also my high hopes dance group that I always have on Saturday, and then I decided just to do ballet and not do tap and jazz. So I did just ballet. So I did my regular ballet class that I did in my previous, that I told you in my previous life update. I did that on Wednesday mornings. And then I also did another ballet class, which is kind of like a beginner, because the one that I do on Wednesday mornings is like a technique class where you learn the steps and learn how to do things right to get you prepared for the other ballet classes that they offer at the dance studio that I have my dance classes at. So I decided to do another ballet class plus that one that I normally do on Wednesdays. So I decided, okay, let me look into it and see what they offer for somebody that's a beginner. So they have a beginner and beginner/advanced class where there's people that are a little bit advanced plus beginners. They offer that, which was on Tuesday night and Thursday nights. So I was taking ballet class 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday nights, and Wednesday morning, but the teachers are different. So the teacher that I have on Wednesdays from my ballet class, she is the owner of the dance studio, and then the teacher that I have Tuesday and Thursday nights is a different teacher. So they are both nice. They're both really nice and patient with me because I'm still a beginner, and they understand my disability because they know I'm part of the High Hopes Dance Group, which is people with disabilities. That's part of my program that I'm part of. So they know me very well, and they're both nice and great. So I purchased some ballet clothes, some tights and ballet shoes, the the little ballet shoes that they wear, and a dance bag. So I did that all in the new year, all in January 2020. And then like back in September, I purchased jazz shoes and tap shoes. I forgot to mention that in my last update. So I had everything set for my ballet classes, and then in the future, if I wanted to do tap and jazz again, I have all the shoes. So I had everything, and I have a cute dance bag that's pink and girly, and I have a water bottle as well that's pink that matches my dance bag. So I was set for the dance season for the new year. Every year that they have dance season, so I was set. So I was really enjoying the new year and my dance classes, especially the ballet that I was just doing, and also my high hopes dance class. I eventually in the future want to do hip hop, so I have experience with hip hop, tap, jazz, ballet. So I have experience with all those dances, those different type of dances. But that's in the future. I want to do hip hop since I've been doing tap and jazz since I was 7, as I mentioned in my previous video, life update. Now I'm doing ballet more, and I'm still doing my high hopes dance class, which is kind of like a slow motion jazz type of class, where we do a lot of Disney songs as well. So yeah, that's what I've been doing since January 2020. And my worker has still been coming over after the holiday season. She started coming over again after our Christmas break and New Year break. She came back on the days that she came, and we started doing my goals again. If there's any new goals that I wanted to do, we started doing that. So it was, really good to get back to have a new year and start doing goals and things that I wanted to start and learn, and back to back to my dance season, which I really enjoyed, and everything was going good in the new year. In the beginning of the new year, it was really going great. And I had my car that I purchased. That car was still running good. There was no problems with it. So that was a great start of the new year. So my husband, he was still working part-time, and my mom was still working as well. So they both still had jobs in the new year, which was, great, blessed. And I really enjoyed my dance classes. Especially the new ballet class that I started with the different teacher than the one that I have on Wednesday. I was enjoying that. Everything was going great. So yeah, and then we were me and my dance group, High Hopes, were invited to be in a parade. The dance studio that I have my dance classes at, including my High Hopes dance class, were invited from the city to be part of one of their parades that they were having in January. It's called the Golf Cart Parade, and the theme was like 50s type theme. Anybody that wanted to decorate their floats or dress in the 50s type theme were able to, and you get judged by judges. So the dance studio has their own dance group that represents their dance studio, and then we represent our own dance group. So the owner, who's my teacher that I have on Wednesdays for ballet, she talked to the parents of our dance group and the person that's in charge of our dance group, who started it as well, said, do you guys want to participate, represent your dance group in the parade, walk behind us in the parade. So I was like, they were like, okay, they were asking any of us that wanted to participate and join. So of course I wanted to do it. I thought it was gonna be fun. So of course I was signed up for it, and a couple of other people signed up for it. There was like a limited amount of people that were able to sign up for it. So we did that. So that day that we had the parade, I didn't really, it was like really packed and crowded, so I couldn't really film any of it or take a lot of pictures. So it was like a parade. It was like fast. So you like walked a certain mile and stuff. So and I didn't really have anything 50 theme, so I didn't really dress up. I just wore comfortable pants and our high hopes dance shirt to represent our dance group. So that's what everybody had to wear, is our high hopes dance shirt to represent the high hopes dance group. And then the other dance group from the dance studio, which is our own dance group, represented the dance studio. And then so I didn't know that the dance studio who's representing the dance group that's representing the dance studio had a routine ready. I didn't know that. So we were just gonna walk. So when they started the parade, well, right before they started the parade, the people that were in the other dance group that we were gonna be behind of from the dance studio, they were like kind of rehearsing, and I was like, how come we didn't have a routine? I was asking, the other people that were part of the High Hopes, and then the parents said, oh, well, I don't think it was a good idea, and stuff like that, being annoying and stuff. So I was like, when the other people were practicing their routine from the dance studio, their dance group, I was like following them. So I was, wanted to walk and also dance like they were doing. So when the parade started, the dance group that was representing the dance studio, we were behind them. So I was following their 50 routine. So whatever they were doing, I was following with them too. And then when it came to us passing the judges were clapping and saying woo, they were when I was representing High Hopes dance group that I was in, I was the one dancing more than the other people were. So it is what it is, and I was enjoying myself, and I wanted to dance as well as the other group was, like in front of us, that's from the dance studio. So I was following them, and they didn't care. They didn't really care. So I was enjoying myself, and people were cheering me on. Go girl, woo! They're cheering me on, and the judges really liked me dancing, representing High Hopes dance group. So that's what I was doing, walking and dancing, whatever they were doing. The group before us from the dance studio. So that's what happened in January as well. It was fun. It was a little bit exciting, but fun. It was fun, but tiring, because I never danced and walked before at the same time. It was hard but tiring, but I did it throughout the time that we walked and danced down the street where it was. So it was fun. It was great. So I really enjoyed myself. It was really cool. It was awesome. I got lots of exercise that day from walking half the time and then dancing half the time. When they danced, I started to dance. When they walked, I walked. So yeah, so it was fun. So what else happened in January? I'm trying to think. So I think that was it in January. Nothing else happened. Nothing much else happened. and there were the dance studio. They always have like a recital each year of like all their dance classes, like the ballet classes, their hip hop classes, the tap classes, the musical theater, and the jazz classes. They always have a dance recital at the end of the year, which is in June, every year in June. So they were starting to plan that out, like right after the new year. They always plan it out right away, and they reserve their space at the theater that they perform at, which is like the theater that I used to perform at with my old dance studio that I went to when I was younger. So it's the same theater, our community theater. And the place that we had the Nutcracker show at, we had it at a different theater, so it wasn't at the same theater that they usually have the recitals at, or any other entertainment performances at. So they started to plan that out, and I heard rumors that it was gonna be this or that, blah blah blah, but they didn't make up their mind yet. They were still trying to plan it out, and then towards the end of January, they started announcing it and started planning it out more, and started having sign-up sheets for, parts in the dance recital, in the ballet part. So the ballet part is always first, because that's a little longer. They tell a story of a certain thing. So last year was Alice in Wonderland, and then the year before that, 2 years ago, the year before that was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which me and my High Hopes dance group performed on the second part, when they had all the tap classes, all the jazz classes, the musical theater classes, perform in the second part, which I will have a video of it very soon. I'll show you guys. We'll have that up soon. So be on the lookout for that coming up soon. They tell a story for all the ballet classes. They're in like the first part of the recital. So I found out that for the recital for June 2020 that they were going to have, they announced it towards the end of January 2020, was going to be The Little Mermaid. I was like, oh yes, I have to be in it. So I signed up for it right away once they announced it towards the end of January. So I signed up for it, even though I barely started my second ballet class. I was still learning everything, all the moves and things like that, because I wasn't advanced like most people were. So I was so excited about it, because Little Mermaid, as I mentioned in my previous life update, I love Little Mermaid. Ariel is my favorite Disney princess, and Cinderella is my other favorite Disney princess. And I love Little Mermaid, the Disney version, the cartoon Disney version, and I also love Cinderella from Disney, the cartoon version. I grew up watching them all the time, and that's why they're my favorite Disney princesses. And I was so excited that it's gonna be The Little Mermaid, and of course I signed up for it. And they were like figuring out the different parts. Whoever signed up for it, it can be adults, it can be teenagers, it can be little ones, little kids, that are part of the different dance classes over there too. They can be in it as well, and also do their other dance classes as well for the show for the second part. So I was like, cool, I was getting excited. It was a great year. January 2020 was starting to be a great year. I thought 2020 was going to be a great year for all of us. So I was like really excited, signing up. They were going to start ordering the costumes very soon, and start planning it more, and giving each other's the people that sign up, after everybody signed up, they were giving people their parts and ordering their costumes and getting sizes of people so they can start ordering the costumes and stuff. So I was like so excited, getting ready for June for the dance recital. I was like, oh yes, Little Mermaid, I can't wait. You know, how it turns out, how I imagined it, what parts we're gonna do and everything. I was like so excited. So that's what happened towards the end of June, early February. So everybody was getting excited for that to start happening. So they were planning that out at the dance studio, and I was still doing my dance classes, my ballet on Tuesday and Thursday nights and Wednesday mornings as well. And then my high hopes dance group I was still doing as well on Saturday mornings. And my worker still came over on the days that she came over. And you know, they were still planning the show out, the recital out, the Little Mermaid ballet show out too. So my husband was still working part-time, and my mom was still working at her job. So 2020 was like I said, starting to be a good year for all of us. You know, great year. And then February, we also had our yearly, that we have each and every year that our town has, our yearly fair. Is like a big carnival fair. It's called the Day Festival, because I live down where it's at, in that town. So we went to our yearly Day Festival. We just walked around, saw a couple shows, and you know, didn't really get a lot of souvenirs because we still couldn't afford it, because you know, I was still doing my dance classes, and then I was saving money to be part of the ballet dance recital show. So I had to save money for that, for the costume. When we started ordering, when they started announcing to order costumes, so I was saving money for that, and saving money for the pictures that they always have professionally done for everybody that wanted to take pictures. And so I had to save money for all that. So we didn't really get to buy a lot of souvenirs at the Day Festival or fair, yearly fair that we have each and every year. So we just walked around. And saw a couple of shows, walked around, saw the little venue areas, and my husband wanted to see the petting zoo, so we went to see the petting zoo. And you know, we didn't really go on the rides either because we couldn't afford the tickets or the little bracelet that they put on to go on the rides as many times as you want. It was like getting a little bit expensive than it usually is. So every year it gets more expensive, but it's definitely worth it though. So we couldn't really do much this year. So in February 2020. So with that, so every year when they have the Day Festival, there is always a show that I have to see. It's called the Nightly Musical Pageant, which is my most favorite part of the Day Festival, the fair. So I have to see it, and it tells a story each and every year. It tells a different story. So I always have to see it before, you know, we leave on the day that we do go. If we go more than once, I see it more than once. I see it on the times that we do go, if we go more than once. So, but usually we go every year because we don't usually. One of my friends that I've known for a long time, since middle school, I known her since like 5th grade. She volunteers there. Her mom and dad and sister volunteer there. They volunteer with the musical pageant. They help set up the set. They help clean up afterwards. So they volunteer there every year. So she always surprises me and sends us free tickets to enter, so we don't really have to pay for entrance and sometimes she gives us a parking ticket so we don't have to pay for parking. So that's really generous of her. So it's really nice of her to do that because we're still good friends. We still talk sometimes. We talk on Facebook, and she's a really nice person. One of my good friends that I know since 5th grade, which was in elementary school. We went to elementary school since 5th grade. We went to middle school and we went to high school. So I've known her for years, since elementary school, 5th grade. So I'm sorry about the noise. Across the street we live at a mechanic shop, so it's kind of noisy sometimes. I do apologize if there's a little bit of noise in the background. So it's really nice of her to do that. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't, but she was able to get tickets and send it to us to enter, and then a parking ticket too, so we didn't have to pay for tickets to enter or the parking. So that was really nice of her. So we went only one day. She only gives us a ticket for like one day. So we went the last weekend of it because it's like 2 weeks. It's like 10 days. So we went on the last weekend of it. So the last weekend of it. So we got to do that. We got to get out for that day, which is really nice because I always look forward to it every year. They have different venues every year. They have different themes every year. They try to change it up every year. So this year was kind of the same as last year. It was like kind of crappy. So we just walked around, saw a couple things, shows and stuff. But the musical pageant, nightly musical pageant, was different because they always have it different every year, and it was a really good one. And we didn't really, like I said, buy any souvenirs because I was saving up for my dance classes and the dance recital that was going to come up in June, so I had to purchase my stuff for that. And we just went. We don't really normally eat fair food because it's like a lot of fat and a lot of bad, fat and grease and stuff. So we usually go somewhere to eat before we head to the fair, and then after we leave, if we're hungry, we usually stop somewhere cheap in our town, like somewhere cheap or something, or wait till we get home to eat. And so we usually stay until after the musical pageant to see it, and then we usually leave. That's usually about 9-10 o'clock because we're so tired by that time from doing a lot of walking and doing a lot of stuff like that. So, and it usually gets cold around that time. It gets really cold around that time, so we're like usually freezing. And my mom always every year buys the cinnamon rolls. It's a tradition that we have. We always have to have the cinnamon rolls that they sell there. They're really good. Every time we go to a fair, we always have to have their cinnamon rolls. So that's a tradition for us, is to get those. So every year my mom gets them for us, just a little treat that we have when we get home or for the next day. So she usually gets the ones that's already cooked and the ones that's like frozen, where you can cook them yourself as well. So that's our tradition that we always purchase more than like other things or souvenirs. That's what we purchase mainly more. So that's what happened in February. There wasn't much performances going on with my High Hopes Dance Group. They didn't have any performances scheduled for that month. And like I said, I was busy with my dance classes, my 2 ballet classes, and my High Hopes dance class. And my worker still came over on the days that she came over, and my husband worked on the days that he worked part-time, and my mom worked as well on the days that she worked. And we started having rehearsals as well for they announce each part for the people that signed up for the Little Mermaid show. They announce each part. So I was gonna be in a group of other people with other people, and we were gonna be playing servants, like little servants, to Ariel and Prince Eric in one of the scenes. I can't remember what scene it was gonna be in, but we were gonna be playing servants. So they started ordering the costumes, and then after they measured, because they measure everybody that before they order the costumes or for their scene and the character that they're gonna play. So I paid for mine right away, and got measured right away, and then they ordered everybody's costume, and so I had mine already paid for. So when it came in, they were gonna give it to everybody. So we were actually gonna keep the costumes, which was so awesome, because I still have all my costumes from all my other recitals since I was younger. I still have all my little costumes that I wore when I was little. I still have them somewhere in the garage in one of the boxes. So I keep them as memories, because those are memories to me. And I still have the videos of all the dance recitals, which I'm like putting on DVD, because we don't have a VCR anymore, obviously, because it's like a new, not in the 90s anymore, it's like the 2000s now. So I'm slowly putting them all on DVD, transferring them to DVD so I can watch them on my DVD player or my laptop or so. So I love dance. Like I said, dance is my thing. If I don't dance or have any classes of dance classes, then it's just makes me not happy, because dancing is my cardio. If I'd rather dance than go to the gym. I'd rather dance than do other things to exercise and to be healthy and in shape. I'd rather dance instead of other things. So I love dancing. That's in my blood. That's in my soul. So I have to dance. So I love dancing. I love ballet. I love tap. I love jazz. And I'm sure in the future when I start doing hip hop dance classes, I will love that as well, as I love all the other dance classes that I've been doing and did since I was little, since I was 7 years old when I first started doing dance class. So it was like in the middle, towards the end of February, they started ordering the costumes and starting to have the schedule up, to start having rehearsals for the parts that we have. I don't know how many parts it was going to be, maybe like 5 or 6, maybe 7 parts for the whole show, for the ballet part, for the Little Mermaid performance. So we each had a schedule for our part and what time we had rehearsal and what days we had rehearsal. So they handed those out to everybody that was going to be part of it, and you had to go to rehearsal. You cannot miss rehearsal. If you miss it, then you would have got a warning, and if you missed more than once, they would have kicked you out of the show. Just like the Nutcracker show, you had to be there for all the rehearsals and stuff, even the rehearsal leading up to that day. So you have to be there. So if you signed up, then you're committed to it. And if you don't show up, or if something happens more than once, then you get kicked out of it. So we started having rehearsals towards the end of February, which was so exciting. I was like getting excited of it more and more when we had rehearsals, and then the last, it was like so fun. So yeah, that's what February happened. A little bit of excitement, a little bit of good stuff, but not as bad, but still good. So March. So now March. So March was a really, really tough month because January and February weren't as bad, but March was the worst because ever since I believe January/February, the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic started all over the world. It started in China, then it spread all over the world, and it spread to the USA. You guys know about it. You guys know all that. I'm not going to explain it to you much. So it wasn't as bad here in the USA. It was more bad in foreign countries than in the USA. In January and February, that's when it started to spread. It started becoming worse in foreign countries and also in Asia when it first started back in January. So in March, it started spreading a lot more here in the States, in America, USA. So it started to become a bad thing for everybody. Everybody was panicking. A lot of bad things started to happen, and the worst part, a lot of things were shutting down. So, of course, my dance classes had to be canceled, and the rehearsals had to be canceled. So I was really getting upset and frustrated when all that happened in March. The day that it happened was a day that I could remember. It was on St. Patrick's Day. So that day we always celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We always have corned beef and cabbage and potatoes. And I had rehearsal that night. And also my dance class, which was on a Tuesday. My ballet class, and then rehearsal during ballet class. That's what we did. It was like really bad. And then, February, I forgot Valentine's Day was in February. Sorry, let me go back to it. Sorry, I just remember that. So February, my husband and I, what did we do? Oh, I made dinner for us. I made dinner. My worker, came over that day. It was on a Friday, I believe, Valentine's Day. So I made dinner for us for Valentine's Day, and he got me like beautiful roses and stuff because it was payday that day. So he spoiled me a little bit for Valentine's Day, and then we had time together that night. And I got him a little something too. So that's what we did on Valentine's Day. So back to March. So everything was getting bad. Businesses were starting to shut down. Restaurants were starting to close and shut down. The stay-at-home order started to be issued, and everything was starting to get canceled. All the events that our town was starting to have coming up, it was canceled. They started to cancel everything, and they started telling people wear face masks, start wearing gloves and face masks. The gloves were optional, but the masks were mandatory. Stay home. Social distance, be 6 feet apart from people. It was like really bad. Starting on March 17th, that's when it happened. It started spreading really bad. Everything was canceled. So that day, I was getting upset. I was so upset that day because I wasn't 100% sure if the recital was actually going to be canceled or not. So it turned out it was starting to get canceled. So we didn't even have our dance recital, Sauce Little Mermaid show, in June like they were planning it, because the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic started to become really bad in March. So my worker stopped coming over right when they announced everything. So that week on March 17th, she didn't come over when she was supposed to come over. Everything was shutting down. Dance classes were canceled. stay at home was mandatory. Only go out when needed. All the stores were getting low on everything, on sanitizer, toilet paper, canned goods, like pasta stuff, like cleaning stuff like Lysol and things like that. And it was just the worst that I ever seen. I never experienced anything like that before, and all the stores were out of everything and starting to be out of everything. Every place that we went to, they were out of everything. And people were panicking really bad, and it was just like really worse. And having to wear face masks and gloves if you wanted to wear gloves, but face masks were mandatory. Social distancing was starting to be mandatory. The stay-at-home order was issued, and that was mandatory. Kids had to stop going to school. People had to stop working. It was just worse. It was really worse. And I was like getting upset because of my dance, and I was like figuring out, what am I going to do now? Because if I don't dance, I don't know what to do. And I don't have a lot of room in my apartment to dance because we live in a little bit of a small apartment. And there was like not a lot of room. So I was like really getting upset, and I started to get depressed and started getting angry and frustrated. And like it was like starting to hit me a lot and like really hard on me. And just like, what am I gonna do? Luckily enough, my husband was still able to work, and my mom was still able to work. That was like very lucky that we're still able to work when everything started to hit really hard and be really worse back in March 2020. But for me, it was getting worse because, I had nowhere to go. I didn't have dance classes anymore. I didn't have my worker come over anymore. I was stuck at home. I was bored and lonely and depressed and upset and frustrated. I was going through all those emotions, while my husband and my mom were at work. I just was kind of really bored. I didn't really have a lot to do, so I, was catching up on my pen pal letters and trying to not be, have all these emotions in me and things like that, and going through a hard time dealing with all this and watching it on the news and having the cases rise up everywhere, especially in California. And me and my husband starting to plan our summer. We were planning on going to see his brothers. Two of his brothers live in England, London, the UK, which is in the UK. So we started planning that back in January. We started planning our summer vacation. We really wanted to go there, but we had to like put it on hold because we didn't know how long this COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic was gonna, how long it was gonna happen for. So we were talking to them, and they said it's okay, we'd rather have you guys stay safe, be at home instead of coming to see us. Like we planned it out for the summertime. After the dance recital, after dance class was over, that's when we were gonna go, maybe like in July and stuff. So we just put it on hold, gonna plan it out for the following year instead of this year, 2020. So it was just hard. It was just really hard, especially when everything started to hit really fast back in March. So it was just hard. I didn't know what to do. Luckily, I had my pen pals who were so supportive, and they were going through a hard time, so we were supporting each other. And I had my mom and my husband that were like there for me, especially if I had a breakdown, especially dealing with all this stuff and not being able to have my dance classes, because that's my thing, that's in my soul. I have to have it, otherwise I'll go crazy and depressed and all these emotions that I was having. And, worried and scared and all these things, still when we went out to the store, worried and scared, but still being protective, still being 6 feet apart, still wearing our face masks, still wearing gloves, which was optional. We didn't have to, but they didn't require it, but it was optional if you wanted to. And still social distance and still be 6 feet apart and so on. So we had to start doing all that. We weren't used to anything like that until it started to happen in March 2020. So it was like really hard. We never experienced anything like that before. I never experienced anything like that before in my whole life, and my husband either. Since he's been here in America, he never experienced anything like that before. And he would call back home to Africa to see how his family was. They had it there too, and call his brothers in London. It was all over the place, all over the world, and also all over the USA, United States of America. So it was like really hard. I was trying to cope with it the best I can. I'm still coping with it the best I can right now because it's still going on. So I'm just like, okay, I gotta be strong. We gotta be strong for each other. So my mom and my husband, we're all strong. We gotta be strong. We can't let this ruin it. We can't let this ruin us, We gotta be strong. So, yeah. So, since everything was canceled, everything was shut down, we couldn't really go anywhere. Every plan was canceled. So yeah, we had to stay home. So it's been like this for the past 6 months now. And it's still like this. We still have to wear our face masks, we still have to be cautious, we still have to wear gloves if you want to, we still have to be social distance, we still have to be 6 feet apart in public. It's still like this, but it's not as bad as it was in the beginning in March 2020. It was bad, but now after a few months, it's not, I don't think it's not as bad. So yeah, like I said, since the Little Mermaid ballet dance show recital was canceled, I kept my costume. Like, luckily enough, everybody received their costume before everything started to be canceled. Luckily enough, everybody received their costumes. Everybody that was in the recital. No matter if you're doing tap, jazz, musical theater, hip hop, you received all your costumes. They had all the costumes given to the people that signed up for each of the dance classes, and also the ballet Little Mermaid performance as well. So everybody received their costumes before the shutdown happened. So I have mine. We'll see if it's gonna happen in 2021. So they told everybody to save it. So that's what I did, and I put it in a plastic thing so it doesn't get dirty, in a plastic thing where you put like fancy clothes so it doesn't get dirty. So I have it, and I'll show you guys in a minute. I have it hanged up. I want to show you guys too. And then I also took a picture of it with me when I tried it on. I have a picture of me trying it on, but it's under my clothes. So I will insert that picture somewhere, or at the end of the video I will insert that picture as well. So yeah, so that's what January 2020 to March 2020 has been for me. And I have my April 2020 to June 2020 life update coming up, and also my July 2020 to September 2020 life update coming up too. So that will be coming up as well soon as well, you guys. And then after that, after all my life updates are caught up, I'm gonna start catching up on my unboxing videos because I have a lot of my unboxing videos to do. Since my last unboxing video, I have all my Ipsy Beauty bags, I have all my Love with Food boxes, all my Bridge boxes, all my Walmart seasonal boxes, and also my FabFitFun seasonal boxes too. So all those are coming up. I still have the Vegas vlog and our wedding vlog to upload. I still have all my dance videos to upload. So I still have a lot, even though I took a break these past couple months dealing with this coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic situation. I am back now, and also I took a break because I was catching up on my pen pal letters because I was so busy with my dance classes. And then once this pandemic hit, I started having more time with my pen pal letters. Now that I'm all caught up with my pen pal letters, I have time to do my YouTube videos again. So they will all be coming up on my YouTube days, which are always on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. So I'm going to show you guys my costume that I was supposed to be using in the Little Mermaid ballet show, playing a servant to Ariel and Prince Eric. That was supposed to happen on June 6, 2020, but it was canceled because of this coronavirus pandemic. So hopefully next year we can be having that, and I can use it next year in June 2021. So let me show you guys real quick, and I will end this video from there. So yeah, let me show you guys real quick. Okay guys, I'm back. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you guys my Little Mermaid costume that I was supposed to be part of, playing a servant to Ariel and Prince Eric. That was supposed to happen on June 6, 2020, but thanks to this coronavirus pandemic, it was canceled until next year. We'll see how next year is, and then maybe we can have it then. It was postponed until next year. I mean, not canceled, postponed until next year. So let me show you guys, and I will end this video and be done with it. So that's what it looks like right there. It's in the plastic thing. I just kind of took it out so you guys can see it better without it being in the plastic thing that I have it in. So it's really pretty, it's sparkly, it's teal. I'm sorry about the lighting. I don't have very good light in my room, so I'm sorry if the lighting's not very good either. I'm planning on getting one of those ring lights very soon, so I'll have better lighting in here, especially when I do my videos for you guys. I will have a better light with the ring light that I'm planning on getting very soon. So it has little ruffles, which is so cute, and it has little sparkly flowers right here in the front, and it has the shoulder part, a little flower, and the other side is the same thing, little flower, ruffles. And then this is the apron that we were gonna wear with it, since we were playing a servant. So that's the apron that goes with it. We were gonna tie it around our waist. So that's the apron. And then so this is the bottom of it. So this is my first ever ballet costume. So this is my first ever ballet one, because all my other costumes that I had since I was little, since I started like dance class, I started doing dance classes, I only have like jazz dance costumes and tap dance costumes. So this is my first ever ballet one, and it's so cute and so beautiful, and I can't wait to perform in it, hopefully next year. Depends on this coronavirus pandemic that's going on right now. So I'm like so in love with it. I don't really like the color. I was hoping to get a pink one because that's my favorite color, but the teacher said she wanted everybody to have this color because I guess it's like the part is like, I don't know, I can't explain it. So she couldn't find any pink ones, so she had to choose this color. This is the best she can do, but it's still pretty. It's still fluffy and cute and beautiful, and I can't wait, like I said, to perform in it. It's sparkly. I don't know if you can see that. The camera's starting to, yeah, and the lighting's not very good either. So you can see the little sparkles. And then we have this. We have this headpiece came with it. This flower headpiece came with it. So we were gonna have our hair in buns, because that's what ballerinas do, is put their hair in buns for every performance. So we were gonna have our hair in buns and put this headband, not headband, like ponytail, like with it when we have our hair in buns. So we were gonna have this flower ponytail and our hair in buns. So that matches that, because it matches. You can see flowers. So I guess that's it. Let me step back and show you guys more with more light. So it looks like that. It's just beautiful. And the back of it is just, oh, it has a little, you can't really see it because of the lighting. It has like a little crisscross tie. You can see it a little bit better. Like a crisscross tie in the back. Let me see. I don't know if I can get it because of the light. No, it's not very light right now. But that is it, and I hope you guys like it. And so that is it. And if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I'm sorry if it's too long. I just had a lot to talk about, and since I haven't been doing videos lately. So that is it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment box down below. Only positive, wonderful comments, not negative, rude comments, because if you guys send me a negative, rude comment, your comment will be deleted and you will be blocked from my channel. So please, only positive, great comments. And if you guys want to follow me on my other social media sites, the links are down below. And please subscribe as well. I can really use your subscription. Please, I want to build my channel up a little bit more with subscribers. If you're if you're a new viewer watching this video or any of my other videos, please subscribe. I guess that's it. So I will end here, and thanks for watching. Bye everyone. And I will insert that picture, you know, as well, with me trying it on, so you can take a better look at my costume. So that is it, and thanks for watching. Bye everyone.